Hello everyone, I'm Ola. In this lesson, I'm gonna introduce perfect and perfect progressive tenses, both in the past and present. Now, I'll start with the present perfect simple, what it looks like and how we use it. Let's get started. Forming the present perfect. The present perfect of any verb is composed of two elements. The appropriate form of the auxiliary verb to have, a present tense, plus the past participle of the main verb. The past participle of a regular verb is past plus ed, for example, played, arrived. Affirmative. Subject plus verb to have plus past participle, either irregular and regular. For example, she has visited. Negative. Subject plus verb to have plus not plus past participle. For example, she has not visited. Here, has not or hasn't here contraction. Interrogative. It means any question. Verb to have plus subject plus past participle. For example, has she visited? Negative interrogative. Verb to have plus not plus subject plus past participle. For example, hasn't she visited? The present perfect is used to describe 1. An action or situation that started in the past and continues in the present. For example, she has worked in the bank for 5 years. I have been here since 7 o'clock. Look at the timeline. The event started in the past and continues in the present. Also, we use the present perfect to describe when the time period referred to has not finished. Here are some examples. I have worked hard this week. We haven't seen her today. We use it to describe actions repeated in an unspecified period between the past and now. Here are some examples. We have eaten at that restaurant many times. They have seen that film 6 times. We use it to describe actions completed in the very recent past plus just. For example, have you just finished work? I have just eaten. When the precise time of the action is not important or not known. For example, they have moved into a new apartment. I have already seen that movie. Here is an indefinite time and the difference between the present perfect and the present simple tense. Here keywords for present perfect simple. For, since, ever, already, yet, just, never. Now, we will start with the present perfect progressive. Forming the present perfect progressive. The present perfect progressive is made up of two elements, the present perfect of the verb to be, have, has, been, and the present participle of the main verb, past plus verb ing. Like subject she plus has or have been. We know we use has as singular and have as plural. Has been plus past ing swimming. In affirmative, she has been or she's been running. Negative, she hasn't been running. Here just we add not. In a negative, has she been running? In a negative, hasn't she been running? When we use the present perfect progressive and why? The present perfect progressive is used to describe actions that started in the past and continues in the present. For example, she has been waiting for you all day. I've been working on this report since 8 o'clock this morning. Here is timeline to understand it more. They have been exercising since 3 p.m. Here, the action started in the past and continues in the present. Also, we use present perfect progressive to describe actions that have just finished, but we are interested in the result. For example, she has been cooking since last night and the food on the table looks delicious. It's been raining and the streets are still wet. Not. Verb without continuous forms. With verbs not normally used in the continuous form, use the simple present perfect instead. Verbs such as know, eat, hear, understand, want. Here are some examples. I've wanted to visit China for years. I've hated that music since I first heard it. Common keywords for present perfect progressive tense like since, all, how long, for. Now I'll start explain past perfect. Forming the past perfect. The past perfect tense in English is composed of two parts: the past tense of the verb to have had plus the past participle of the main verb. Subject plus had plus past participle. For example, in affirmative, she had given. In negative, she hadn't asked. Interrogative. For example, had they arrived? Interrogative negative. For example, hadn't you finished? Now, let me talk about when we use past perfect. Functions of the past perfect. One event happened before another in the past. In these examples, event A is the event that happened first, and event B is the second. A. We had already started cooking. B. When they arrived. The first event is A, the second event is B. Keywords in the past perfect like after and before. Now I'll explain the past perfect progressive. Forming the past perfect progressive. The past perfect progressive is composed of two elements: the past perfect of the verb to be, had been, plus the past participle base plus verb ing. Subject plus had been plus verb ing, like I had been walking. In affirmative, she had been trying. In negative, she hadn't been sleeping. The form interrogative had plus subject plus been plus verb ing, like had you been eating. Interrogative negative, hadn't they been living? When we use past perfect progressive, functions of the past perfect progressive. The past perfect progressive corresponds to the present perfect continuous, but with reference to a time earlier than before now. As with the present perfect continuous, we are more interested in the process. Here are some examples. Had you been waiting long before the taxi arrived? We had been trying to open the door for 5 minutes when Jen found her key. Look at the timeline to understand past perfect progressive more. An action started in the past and continues up to another point in the past. I hope you have benefited. Thanks for watching.